Hello everyone and welcome back once again to my channel and to another tutorial for the Aerosoft CRJ. In this video we are going to learn something that I personally haven't done too often, and when I did do it, it was practically always executed very poorly. I'm talking about go-arounds. For those of you who are not familiar with the term, it is basically a procedure that pilots follow when they are on final approach for a runway and they, for whatever reason, aren't able to land. When this happens, the pilots advance the throttles, retract flaps and gear, and they climb away to turn around and attempt the landing once again. Go-arounds are a very crucial part of flying in real life and also to some extent in Flight Simulator. If you fly on the VATSIM network, for example, there is a chance that at some point or another you will have to do a go-around. If you're flying offline, you might also have gone around at some point in your virtual flying career. I personally have only done a go-around twice or so, and when I did it, it didn't really go the way you would want it to go because I didn't really know the right procedures for it, and I didn't think it was worth looking up since I don't really do it that often. But since I got this aircraft, the CRJ 700, and I'm planning to do some flights on VATSIM in the future, I thought it would be a good idea to finally learn how to properly execute a go-around and show you guys how to do it as well. Very quickly before we start, be sure to head over down below and do a touch and go on that subscribe button along with the bell icon directly beside it, so you never miss out on any new uploads. If you like this tutorial and find it helpful, don't forget to leave a like as well. I really appreciate all the people who support my channel and the content that I make. Now without further ado, let's get started. So before we jump into the flight deck, I'm very quickly going to explain the general structure of a go-around in the CRJ 700. If you take a look at the manuals that come with CRJ, in particular the quick reference guide, you'll find a page explaining how to do a go-around. This is the procedure I'm going to explain in this video. So let's imagine that you're on final approach for a runway and you suddenly see another aircraft on the same runway, which is obviously a big problem. The first thing you want to do is call out go around to let your co-pilot know you want to abort the landing. The next thing you want to do is advance the thrust levers to the toga detent and press the toga switch on the thrust levers. Then you rotate towards the flight director and you select the flaps to 8. Once you see a positive rate of climb, you can retract the gear and you can pitch the aircraft to maintain a speed of V2 plus 10 or 15. At 600 feet AGL, which means above ground level for those of you who are not familiar, you engage the autopilot to ease the workload, and once you've reached 10,000 feet, which is the acceleration altitude, you can set the speed bug to 200 knots, reduce the thrust to the climb detent and retract the remaining flaps on schedule. Once all of the flaps are retracted, you can accelerate to 250 knots and start following the go-around procedure that is mentioned on the approach chart. It's not really a difficult procedure when you look at it like this, but what makes doing this so tricky is that everything happens in such quick succession. You need to keep an eye out on a lot of things at the same time, and it is very easy to lose track of something and forget things like retracting the flaps, for example, or reducing the thrust to climb. If you want to do this properly, you'll have to practice it a couple of times. And if you have the option, I would definitely suggest that you practice it with some shared cockpits. So you have a co-pilot who can retract the flaps and gear for you, while you do the rest of the tasks. That would make it a lot easier and also more realistic, since pilots also always fly in duos. So I sadly don't have friends who are into flight sim, so I'm going to try and show you how to do everything by yourself. So now we are ready to jump into the flight deck and show you how it's done. Or at least I'll try my best to show it, since like I said, I haven't really done this a lot of times before, so we'll see how this goes. So here we are, guys, inside the flight deck of the CRJ. As you can see, we are already in the midst of a flight, or a pattern I should say. I've programmed in the ILS approach for runway 25 right at Brussels Airport, which is my second home airport. Once we get a little bit further down this downwind leg, I'm going to turn back towards the airport and fly the ILS. And then once we reach about 200 to 100 feet AGL, we are going to initiate the go around, and I'm going to show you guys how you should do it, or at least I'm going to try. So yeah, that's basically what we are going to do now. I'm already going to set the VREF speed of 136 knots. Now the tricky part is definitely going to be to initiate the go around, then look to the throttles and push the toga switch, because I haven't found a way to bind the key to that button, so we have to do it ourselves. And during the same time that you press that button, you'll obviously need to pull back on the yoke and start a climb. So yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy, this one, but we'll try to make the best of it. On the glide slope indicator, it is saying that we are below the glide slope, so that's good. In a few moments we are going to start our base leg, our right base leg I should say. Right about now should be good. It's actually kind of funny because this video is at the same time is kind of a tutorial for how to fly an ILS approach in the CRJ, so that's actually kind of good. So this seems like a good time to start slowing down to 200 knots to start extending our flaps. Our go-around altitude will just say that about 5,000 feet should be good. We are visual with the airport, as you can see. And I'm going to extend the first notch of flaps and set the speed to 100. Oh no, we don't want to change the speed because it's already set to our VREF, so we're just gonna have a look at the speed indicator. So second notch of flaps. And I'm going to arm nav mode, so that arms localizer for us. Another notch of flaps. Now the speed is really starting to drop. And we should also start turning towards the runway. At this point we can also arm the approach mode, so as you can see, glide slope and localizer 1 is now armed. We are getting quite close to the glide slope, and there we go. Localizer 1 is being captured. Gear and flaps 30. All of the lights are set, thrust reversers are armed, that's all good. Apparently I didn't set runway 25 right, but I accidentally programmed 25 left, but that's all the same to me. So we'll just go with that. And final notch of flaps. It's quite early, I know, but better early than late, I would say. And the aircraft is almost at the point where it will capture the glide slope. Also, a bit of an important thing to mention is that I'm going to do this go around in while hand flying. I don't know if you can do it, if you can let the autopilot do it, but I suppose you could. You just press toga and you advance the throttles yourself and the aircraft should be good to go. But for the reason that most of us probably hand fly the aircraft down to the runway, we are going to hand fly the final part of the approach, and chances are if you do a go around you will probably do it while you are already hand flying, so that's why this way of demonstrating should be a bit better. So our V2 speed is 138 knots, so our climb speed is going to be 148 knots approximately. So that's about, I would say, here. So we are going to aim for that once we engage toga. Getting closer to the runway, as you can see. We are nice and stable, everything is set. So 1000 feet, I'm going to take over from the autopilot. I'm now hand flying the aircraft, which is obviously the most fun part of flying. Like I said, approximately 200 to 100 feet AGL will initiate the go-around phase. But for now we can enjoy keeping this aircraft on the center line and on the glide slope a little bit. Always good practice. 400 feet checked.
300. 200.
Oh no, another aircraft suddenly got on the same runway. Go around.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has aborted the landing.
Flaps
Please
8.
keep your seatbelt fastened as we will be landing shortly.
Too low. Flaps.
And positive rate,
Too low.
gear
Flaps.
up. Don't mind that the too low flaps message. 600 feet, engage the autopilot. And set the speed to 200 knots. And we can also retract the rest of the flaps and reduce the thrust to climb power. And there we go. As you could see, that was kind of hectic all of a sudden. So we got a too low flaps warning, which is normal I would guess, but didn't really, how should I say it, intervene with the, or interfere rather, with the how the aircraft flew, so that's normal I guess then. But yeah, everything happened very quickly as you can see, and at this point you could probably engage nav mode and fly the missed approach procedure, that is mentioned on the approach chart. We didn't really brief a go-around procedure in this video because it depends, it varies from airport to airport. But yeah, the part that we've just shown is always the same for every airport. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on and leave a like as well. And if you want to see more content from me, you can also always follow me on my Instagram account. And yeah, leave a comment down below in the comment section of what you would like to see next on the channel, or if you have any questions, they are always welcome down there as well. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.